Now, the second moving part in all this is, of course, the Rwanda Treaty. Now, Parliament does have a bit of a way of getting into debating treaties, although the mechanism for doing it isn't particularly strong. It's under a thing called the Constitutional Reform and Governance Act that was sort of whistled through in the final hours of Gordon Brown's premiership.
Yeah, so Parliament doesn't have to debate, doesn't have to vote on, doesn't have to formally approve a treaty. There's a provision, as you say, in the Constitutional Reform and Governance Act, the CRAG Act, whereby the government lays the treaty before Parliament for up to 21 sitting days, and it is for one of either House, the Commons or the Lords, to consider whether they wish to pass a motion expressing a view on it.
So they can force a debate on it in the end if they wanted to, I suppose.
Except in the Commons, of course, the government controls the timetable, so whether or not the vote took place, how that comes about is interesting.
This is quite an untested mechanism, really. I mean, it may have been around since 2010, but it hasn't really been picked up and used.
No, not often. And the issue is, even if Parliament expresses a view, it can't actually stop the government ratifying the treaty. All it can do is essentially delay ratification if the government is willing to wait. It's not really a provision that's been tested, because if Parliament, one of the Houses of Parliament, did resolve that they wanted to delay ratification within the 21-day sitting period, it's not at all clear what would then happen, because that has never been tested. So you could have another 21 sitting day period delaying things, but then what? Does it then roll over? Do you have another 21-day delay?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. I do wonder whether, depending upon the numbers and how this debate develops over the next few weeks, whether this is something that will come to the fore more than it has in the past. And actually, you might see an attempt to try and delay ratification of the treaty. And we might see the CRAG provisions tested for the first time. We'll have to wait and see.
And I suppose the killer point about this as well is that 21 sitting days deadline takes us well into January in one single gulp. So the deadline that the government is ultimately operating against is trying to have something to show to the electorate by the time it goes for a general election. And it's very, very hard to see how the new system it's trying to bring in now can have generated palpable results to show the voters by, say, a spring election. So there's that factor playing as well here.
Yeah, I mean, you're assuming that there might be a spring election. I think the question is, does this political situation in which Rishi Sunak now finds himself lend itself to the possibility of an early general election, or is he still going to be minded perhaps to play it long into the autumn? We'll have to see. But, it's not impossible to see if the bill gets basically snarled up, if it comes across objections in the House of Lords, the peers are, delaying tactics, they're not happy with it. It's not difficult to see how the Prime Minister might decide that actually an election is needed to resolve the matter, and you go to the country on a sort of, who is sovereign? Is it going to be Parliament? Is it going to be the courts?
Is it going to be peers versus the people?
Yeah, so
a classic.
Yeah,
and that's the point we haven't yet talked about. Is you take this bill into the House of Lords, and listeners may remember a while ago we talked to Lord David Anderson, the crossbench peer and super lawyer, about this very subject, and he was saying that a bill that simply declared as a kind of finding of fact that Rwanda was safe was going to run into deep, deep trouble very quickly in the House of Lords. So take that prediction on board, because we may see it acted out quite soon.